We grow flax here in our orchard in South Devon, and then we harvest it and process it so it becomes linen, and then Susie spins the linen to produce material for her artwork and her cushions. The process of producing linen starts with linseed. We plant the linseed out in spring, and after it's germinated, we're looking till midsummer for it to become about 1 metre tall. In midsummer, we get these vivid blue flowers, and this flowering process takes about 2 weeks, and then the seeds start to form on top of the straw, and the straw starts to turn a kind of yellow colour, and then it's time for harvesting. So we harvest the flax by pulling it up by its roots, and we're looking to pull it up by its roots because we're looking for the longest fibre length we can possibly get for the spinning process. So once we've harvested it, firstly we dry it, and then we take off the seed heads in a process called rippling, which is pulling it through metal tines. Once we've taken off the seed heads, the next part of the process is called retting. And there's 2 types of retting. We can either do dew retting, which means that we lay the flax out on the grass so it has started to rot down, or we put the straw into a bath of water. And what's happening in this rotting process is that the pectins are being broken down, which are holding the fibre onto the woody core. So after a couple of weeks, we take it out of the bath, dry it again, and then we move on to the next stage of the process, which is called breaking. And for this we use a wooden crimp called the breaker, and we bash the flax so that it breaks away the woody core from the fibres to reveal the fibres. So after we've done the breaking, there's still some pith left on some of the fibres. So we remove this pith by using a scutching knife in a kind of a scutching movement down a wooden board. And once we've got rid of all the pith, we then go on to hackling, and hackling is really combing all the fibres through metal tines, and this straightens out the fibre and gets rid of any little bit of pith that may be left over, until we've got ourselves a flaxen head ponytail. Once we've produced this ponytail, it's time for Susie to start the process of loading it onto her distaff, and she does this by laying it out on a table, producing cobwebs of the fibres, which she then puts onto these homemade distaffs that we have. Once it's all loaded on, it's time for Susie to start her process of spinning. So she sits down with the distaff and she gradually teases off the fibres from the distaff onto the spinning wheel, and the spinning wheel twists it to produce the yarn. Once Susie's finished spinning the fibre, she often then rolls it up into balls or produces hanks by putting it onto a niddy-noddy. Most of the palette that Susie uses is natural, but sometimes we want to go into natural dyeing, which we do with using lots of iron or walnuts, or often we use the tannin that comes from oak galls that we forage locally. Then we come to the final bit of the process, which is Susie's creative part, where she takes the yarn and she then weaves all her cushions and her artwork from there.
I really enjoy the processing. Quite often people have done knitting or sewing and haven't done any weaving, and they're kind of really amazed when they start working what happens when it is pretty amazing that if they've never done any spinning before, they can process the yarn and spin it and then weave a cushion.